everyone, and welcome to this episode of our virtual fireside chat series, Talent Views. I am Anu Rao, leading global marketing for Indotronix Avani Group, serving clients across North America, Europe, and India. Today, we are honored to have a very special guest joining us, our CEO, Samir Penakalapati. Samir is a serial entrepreneur and a thought leader who has built multiple successful ventures spanning both the staffing and recruitment technology sectors. His work focuses on empowering organizations through talent acquisition, workforce automation, and next generation hiring platforms that help companies build future ready teams. Today, we are diving into a timely and an extremely important conversation: how AI is transforming talent acquisition and how wellness and work life balance remain critical in our fast paced industry. Samir, who I like to call the mindful tech leader, is also recognized as one of LinkedIn's top voices, known not only for his insights on recruitment technology, but for his refreshingly honest take on work life balance in today's always on world. Hello, Samir. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, Anu, for the lovely introduction. I look forward for this today's podcast.
Thank you, Samir. Let's dive into the questions right
Okay.
away.
Yeah.
My very first one to you is, as both a staffing leader and a tech builder, what do you see as the most transformative AI use case in the talent space right now? And what do you think is still hype?
Great question. The most transformative use cases, because there are many, but I had to pick three of my top for the staffing industry. The number one, it's really finding a relevant candidate to the job. And the second, finding a fitment, right? In evaluating the candidate fitment to the job. That means including interviews and scheduling and feedback analysis, all of that. And the third is really outreach the candidate through an engagement process, candidate engagement. Those are the three transformative use cases with the AI. And traditionally, those are the three have taken 2/3 of recruiters' time. And now with the AI, probably AI can do a better job in doing these activities, while the recruiters can spend most of their time engaging and building the relationship with the candidates. And what's still hype is a fully autonomous hiring. Hiring is still fundamentally a human decision that AI can assist but cannot replace.
Thank you, Samir. That was such an insightful response. I just wanted to repeat the three things that you mentioned: candidate relevancy, candidate fitment, and candidate engagement are the three aspects that AI can really help. But that does not mean the human element can be taken out. If anything, AI helps in making sure recruiter gets back the time so he or she can engage more in the entire human process. Which brings me to the next question. What areas of the recruitment process do you see AI having the biggest impact on? Sourcing, screening, onboarding, or something else?
Yeah, a great extension to the previous question. AI's real role, is to simplify complexity. Today, it's having the biggest impact in sourcing, screening, candidate engagement, and even to an extent in onboarding we're talking about. And there are other areas too. I mean, we can list the laundry list of all the activities in the recruitment life cycle. But if we can just to focus these four areas, it's also becoming very powerful in candidate engagement. Apart from those traditional ones, we talk about screening, sourcing, onboarding. There are very traditional things. The candidate engagement is another thing that we are getting more advanced in terms of outreach the candidates, in terms of interviewing the candidates, also in terms of getting the right responses. And those are the ones I think AI is having a biggest impact today. With AI agents handling outreach, scheduling, even basic interviews, freeing ultimately a recruiter's time and focus on the human connection.
Reducing the complexity, that is what I'm hearing as the biggest advantage of leveraging AI, which frees up the time for human engagement. Uh, Thank you so much, Samir. And now, when I'm talking about human engagement and using AI to leverage that, what are your thoughts on the bias that AI might unintentionally introduce in the process?
Yeah, a lot of people talks about bias as a real concern, but that cannot be a reason to avoid AI. But think about it. If the data is properly cleansed and use the data to train the model works the way it's intended for. So no bias in the data, no bias in the AI. But that's where we need to focus on making sure our historical data is not biased, is cleansed properly, and maybe audited the data, and then use the data to train the model. Then we will have no bias in the AI models. And again, that's something everyone has to pay attention. Building AI that supports fairness, not just efficiency. That's very important. Good question, though.
Thank you, Samir. And your response to the question, your technical background shines through. Thank you for pushing home the point that it is so important for the data to be clean. That can help us use AI in the most optimal way. Uh, so this helps me segue into the next question.
Yeah.
In your experience, for staffing firms and internal TA teams alike, what's the biggest AI adoption challenge? Is it tech? Is it trust? Is it training? What do you think it is?
Great question. My take, all three important. Tech, trust, training. But if you ask me to prioritize, I would put trust number one, tech number two, training number three. The reason is, if the team doesn't trust the tech that's solving the problem and helping them to improve their efficiency and the productivity, and then adoption would never happen. The real adoption curve is getting recruiters and hiring managers to trust AI insights while still using their own judgment. That's the best case scenario. That trust comes with education, it comes with transparency and showing how AI empowers but not replaces their decision making. If we can able to get that message to the teams, the adoption of AI within an organization will be very high. But that's something is easier said than done. And I think if we pay attention to it, then organizations would benefit tremendously. And because AI is very powerful.
Absolutely loved your answer, Samir. The transparency which can drive trust. There is a theme that seems to go along all your responses, the human part of it. Thank you so much. And I totally agree with you. Uh, Now, how can recruiters best balance automation and personal engagement, especially when we are talking about candidate experience as a top priority?
Yeah, the balance is simple. Automate the transactional and personalize the relational. Use AI to eliminate repetitive tasks, which you all know that, like, schedulings, follow-ups, data entry, all the stuff, and invest that saved time into meaningful conversations with the candidates. That's where the recruiter's value truly shines.
Automate the transactional and pay attention to the actual engagement, the experience that the candidate has with the staffing company.
Correct.
That is the core of our staffing business, and so well put. Thanks, Samir. Now, with the rise of AI generated resumes and applications, recruiters are slammed with resumes. Now, how can hiring teams ensure they are still getting a genuine human read on a candidate?
Correct. We are entering a phase where resumes will tell you less and conversations will tell you more. Why resumes tell you less? Because anyone can write anything on resume. But the conversations will tell you more about the candidate. Smart screening questions, behavioral interviews, and live interactions will carry a more weight than just the resume. Resume is a good to just to get to know the candidate before you actually engage a conversation with the candidate. And that's pretty much about it. And AI can help validate skills and also evaluating the cultural fit, motivation, and other soft skills will always require a human interaction while other things be assisted by the AI.
One of the statements that I do want listeners to go away with in response to this question is resumes will tell less, conversations will tell more.
Correct.
So, in fact, AI is going to help with that process. Uh, Now, the world of AI is so fast changing. Looking forward 2 to 3 years ahead, what role do you think AI will play in predictive hiring? Now, can it accurately forecast not just who gets hired, but who will stay, perform, and grow?
There are a lot going on in getting the tools that helps to do a predictive hiring metrics. I have seen that for last 2 3 years, and we see more and more platforms coming into the market, coming their own predictive algorithms. The predictive hiring will get much better at identifying early signals, like their skills fit, their adaptability to certain products and projects and environments, and their learning agility for specific needs of a product or a project. But it won't be perfect. But AI can surface patterns and probabilities. And again, all these models can help you to predict and patronize, but the unpredictable element of human growth and someone's career evolution will always require a human interaction and a leadership development. So it's the predictive hiring can solve portion of the problem, but then still you would need that human connection to understand their growth, ambitions, and careers, aspirations, all of that stuff. So the combination of the human and the AI, I think, would do a much better in predicting the hiring and keeping the candidates in the longer term with the firm or the projects.
Thank you so much. Because there is a growing fear that AI might dehumanize recruitment. Now, in your particular case, how has your ATS evolved with AI? What specific pain points in traditional staffing workflows were you most eager to solve through automation or intelligence?
Yeah, our focus has always been on recruiter productivity. Like, for example, CPL's Copilot uses multiple AI agents: job optimization agent, relevancy matching agent, candidate engagement agent, to remove the bottlenecks that slows the recruiters down. The pain point was always too much time spent on searching, engaging to the candidates, not enough time in really spending with the candidate. And AI really flips that ratio, that gives you more time in with the engaging candidate and spending time understanding the candidate, building a relationship with the candidate, but then less time on doing all the other activities. And the CPAL does a great job with that.
Essentially, removing the bottlenecks and helping the recruiter build a more human connection is what seems to be the basis of your ATS CPAL. Now, how do you ensure that your platform uses AI to enhance that human connection that you talk of, not just replace it?
Yeah, for us, the goal has never been to replace the recruiter. It's to give them the superpowers, like, you know, connecting the boosters for them. When recruiters spend less time on repetitive tasks, they have more time to build trust with the candidates and hiring managers. And that's where the great hires happen. And that's where AI makes the biggest difference for the recruiters, hiring managers, and overall to the staffing and recruitment industry.
The superpower recruiter who is using AI to leverage his skills even more, is what I hear you saying. That's a wonderful way to end this part of the conversation today and move over to the next part, and that is wellness and work life balance. Today's always 24/7 on world, it has become even more important that we understand how much it's important to pay attention to wellness and work life balance. And you talk a lot about that. You've been vocal about it, and talk to us a little bit about it and how have these practices impacted your performance as both a staffing leader and a tech founder?
It has three things, right? We always used to talk about work-life balance. I always say it's work-life wellness balance. I think that's a new paradigm. And it's an old thing, but I think we had to focus more on work-life wellness balance. That's a key. When you're actually scaling businesses or you're managing teams or you're busy in working on that important project or an assignment, it's easy to get caught up in nonstop execution. But the long-term performance comes from long-term well-being, and it's my own personal experience for me and my teams. The simple routines, like for reflection, like, you know, you have your own your me time and your meaningful family time. Your like simple routines like your morning, you know, masala chai or tea, coffee, and you know, just a small stuff like that would create your own momentums and you curate your own, you know, your me time. I think that brings a lot of clarity and to your resilience, and that makes you ultimately be most productive human being, and that gives you such a meaningful for life in terms of spending with your family, your work, and you feel good because you have taken care yourself, having this mindful wellness. So that's my take on it.
Coffee any day in the morning, Samir. I am all for it. I'm not a chai person, but coffee for sure. Uh, but while we are talking about balancing that wellness work-life balance, uh, staffing, on the other hand, is very fast-paced and high stress. Most of the clients require a quick response time. And given this scenario, how do you model and encourage work-life balance within your own staffing teams without sacrificing results?
I think in general, I talk to the teams that I work across my businesses. Um, we kind of promote a flexibility, not just the policies. Like really, it's about trusting people to manage their time and deliver ultimately their defined tasks and goals and results. We also encourage leaders to lead by example, whether that's unplugging after hours or taking time off, and just taking a small breaks, and just to promote the environment that people wants to be connected, felt, and ultimately be more productive, because it's about working. It's not about working less, it's about working with clarity and focus.
Working with clarity and focus. Having worked with you for so many years, Samir, I know that every time I have a conversation with you, that is one of the things I walk away with.
Thank you.
In fact, one of the other things that I also see you because of the way you bring in wellness and work-life balance is I've seen even under the most stressful circumstances, you maintaining a calm. And I guess it comes out of your wellness practice. So, what advice would you give to staffing professionals, not just our own company, but across the industry ecosystem? What do we say about building sustainable wellness habits into their day-to-day lives?
Yeah, my first advice: do not work 24/7. It's not. You can never be productive. It's not good for your wellness, and do not do that. And then starting from that, build small rituals that center you. Whether it's 10 minutes of reflection, yeah, like me time, a walk, or disconnecting from devices for a bit. Burnout usually doesn't come from doing too much in a short time. It comes from never pausing, but doing that for a longer period of times. You can only sustain
Mm,
high performance if you prioritize recovery. For an example, right, a lot of us tend to ignore the powerfulness of a good sleep. If
mm,
people have a great sleep in the night, they are much more powered to carry out their next day. And if they have less sleep or a long period, a lot of people do want to say, oh, I only sleep 4 hours. It may works for them in a short time, but the longer term, I think it does impact their wellness and also their productivity. So I think we should stop, you know, in taking a great pride of sleeping less and working more. And I think we should start doing that. I have a great sleep last night. I slept 7, 8 hours, and then I'm great. I finished my stuff, and I'm being very productive today. I think that's a new mantra. That should be a new way of looking ourselves into it. I think that would, my advice is to balance the life. That's what I always say: work, life, wellness. Those three things are important.
work, life, wellness. Not glorifying the 24/7, always on. It might feel cool to say it, but that does not help or sustain in the long run, is what I hear you saying. What a wonderful way to end today's chat. Thank you so much, Samir, for giving us time out of your busy schedule. Always love spending time with you, and I walk away feeling more motivated. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anu. It was great speaking up with you. Please do not forget to invite me more of your podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.